What's up, y'all? So today we're going to be developing film at home. I have these two rolls that I shot in Florida during winter. I went with my girlfriend and I took a bunch of pictures, but I just don't remember exactly what I took. I ended up shooting a lot of film. The hobby of shooting film is one that could be stupidly expensive because every roll you shoot is like $8, and then if you want to develop and print it, it's like $25 per roll. So I invested in a C-41 developing kit so I can learn to develop film at home and then learn to scan it. I typically don't really see my prints anymore, so I realized it's kind of a waste for myself. I could always go back to a printing house if I want to get a single still developed, but for now I think it might be just more economical to develop at home. So I learned a little bit of the process and I want to share with you. So let's get started. All right, so let's go over the things we're gonna need. So when you purchase the C-41 developing kit, you get two chemical powders that you prefix into containers. So you get classic developer and Blix. Very, very strong chemicals, but I've already pre-mixed everything, so I'm not gonna be showing this in this video. If you're interested in that process, maybe I'll make another video talking about the developer kit that I use from Cinestills and the whole process when you first purchase it to create your chemicals. So we have Blix and we have developer, right? This is gonna go off to the side. Then we also have the home developer, I also believe, which is from Cinestills. If I'm wrong, I will correct myself. This essentially is a darkroom in a little canister, right? So in this canister, you have the light seal canister itself and two reels, two spools essentially, that you can put your 35mm or 120 film on. We're also going to need a dark bag. This is going to allow us to remove the film, the light sensitive film, from the canister and to put it into our bathing tank, all while being light tight, so that way we don't expose the film canister to any excess light of any kind to ruin any of our exposures. So that's necessary. Then you're going to need some gloves, so that way you don't expose your hands to any dangerously strong chemicals. You're going to need either a sous vide or use a thermometer, so that way you can get the temperature of the water and chemical in the right place. And then I use a film lead retriever to get access to the film strip once it's brought back into the canister. And lastly, trusty old scissors. That way you can cut the reel once you load it onto the canister. And one thing that I forgot is a bin to house your chemical, so that way you can get it to the right temperature. One final requirement is ventilation. You're dealing with Blix and developer, which can be very strong, and you don't want that shit airing in a closed room. You'll get really, really lightheaded really fast. Trust me, I did this in a closed bathroom once. It was the worst decision I've ever made in my life. So let's open a window and get some air in here. All right, first thing we should do is load our film into the canister. Here we have one of the canisters that we'll be using for this process. I have an old film reel and I use this to just kind of get familiar with it again. When I get it in there, I'm going to load this reel just like this to here, and I'm gonna feel it go into these two little slots like that. Bam, it's gonna push up into that ball. From there, I'm going to continue with my hands and push this in like that, bam. And I'm just gonna feel it all the way through until it's loaded, just like that, pretty much. And we're gonna do this in the dark. Okay, so now we're here and our water temperature is at 102. 102.4. Okay, so first, just need to take a quick rinse. Use some of this water. We're gonna pour to here. And just kind of rinse it around. So now we put on some gloves and do the hard stuff. So now we're going to take our developer. We're going to take this stuff. I'm just going to pour that all up in there. Okay, and we're going to start. Now we're going to do this for 3.5 minutes. We're going to invert on the minute. Ready? And bam. Bam. This is just to make sure that the chemical is getting through every slide, every frame of film. So you want to do it nice and slow, but kind of twist it so that way you try to make sure the chemical is exposing evenly across every plane. Now for the last inversion cycle, we're just going to pour it back into its container. And back inside, bam. So now we've developed, great. So now we're gonna do the Blix. Now this stuff is the toxic stuff. Oh, that's so gross. That is terrifyingly gross. Okay. For the first 10 seconds, agitation. I am relatively new to this process, so if you have any ideas to make this more consistent, please feel free to let me know. This stuff is really cool, and I just like understanding the process. The whole chemistry behind developing is really interesting. I know some people strain the silver pigment out of their Blix and sell it off. Pretty crazy stuff. So now that we've finished our fixing process, I washed it in warm water for a little bit just to get all that Blix off of it. And now our film should be fixed. And because I'm typically desperate to see my pictures after I've developed it, I purchased this little tiny little light box kind of thing to see a preview of these photos, and I'll grab it and see what we got. Thanks again for taking the time to sit with me and join me in my antics. If you enjoyed anything about this week's video, then tune in for next week's video where I'll show you how I photo scan the stills I put up at the end of this video. I'm still fairly new to this process, so if you have any ideas to make this run a little smoother or anything to do differently, I would really appreciate the help. Use the comment section down below to let me know. And once again, if you enjoyed this video, then maybe consider subscribing or sharing or viewing another one. Let me win you over. These videos are quite hard to make, and it will show me that I'm doing a little bit of the right thing. I hope you have a great week. Stay safe. Peace, people.